Welcome to What Am I Modeling? I'm Dr. Tricia Pingel, and here's the truth that nobody's telling you. Your nervous system is broadcasting a frequency that everyone around you is picking up. My mission is to break this generational cycle of stress, burnout, and perfectionism before they destroy another generation's mental and physical health. What are you modeling to the world? Let's dive in. What if the thing that changed your life wasn't the dream that you thought it would be? What if your life took that unexpected detour? My guest today is Karen Jacobsen. And trust me, you have heard her voice before, but probably never put a face to the voice. She's the woman behind the GPS that's in over 7 billion devices worldwide. She's the voice that calmly tells you to turn left, recalculate, and keep going. And as it turns out, that's exactly what she does for people in real life as well. Karen is an international concert artist, songwriter, TEDx speaker, and the creator of the Recalculate framework, a roadmap for navigating change, adversity, and those unexpected pivots that actually end up defining us. She moved from a small town in Australia to New York City with a suitcase and a dream and built an extraordinary career. And then, when things happened, she just recalculated. She's been on NBC Today Show, ABC World News Tonight, named one of People magazine's most intriguing people, and Harry Connick Jr. called her hypnotic. I'd have to agree. Not only is she hypnotic, she's incredibly charming, down to earth, and an absolute pleasure to spend this time with. I hope you enjoy her as much as I do. Let's welcome Karen to What Am I Modeling? Hi, Karen. Welcome to What Am I Modeling?
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad you drove me here this morning. I mean, pretty much that's what I feel like. I feel like I just went to Disneyland last week and I knew our interview was coming up and I'm in the car and I put my directions in and I'm like, I feel like you're on vacation with me. Thank you so much for getting me to where I needed to go.
You can never escape me. Now that you know, I'm always going to be there.
I know. And you are an incredible woman to chat with. There are so many different wonderful things that you have done in your own personal life and lessons that you've learned and what you teach the community and everything that you do. And I'm so excited to dive into all of it. But one thing, of course, and you may have been asked this before, maybe I'm not that original, but like, I wonder, you get in the car, you want directions, you're having yourself tell yourself directions. Does that seem weird?
Sometimes. It's so weird. Sometimes that's what happens. I tend to try not to do that because it is a little bit odd, but then sometimes I'll get into a vehicle and it automatically will do that. It's actually pretty fun when I get into the back of an Uber these days. They have this presetting and it's me and it's really prominent and loud. And in fact, my son sent me a text the other day, said, "Mum, I'm in an Uber. You are so loud in the front seat." It was very cute. So even my brand new college student son, who's just in week 6 or week 7 of college, cannot escape me, even though he lives in a city far away now.
Oh my gosh, I have one heading off to college here. He's graduating high school right now. And
yeah.
Oh my God. Like as a mom, I'm just like, oh my gosh. I mean, to use your terminology, I'm going to have to start recalculating a lot and figuring out my new normal and who I am. And, it's so funny because 7 billion people, some hear your voice every day and never maybe have seen you. They don't know who you are. You're walking down the street. I can imagine that was quite a weird sensation when you first started walking down the street, recognizing that everyone's listening to you and not just as Siri and GPS, by the way. I mean, the commercials that you've done, I was like, oh man, I know that commercial. Like the brands that you've worked with, Neutrogena, the Diego one made me laugh because I was like, oh my gosh, I have little boys. I used to listen to that all the time. And your accent moving to different accents as well, giving you such a variety of voices. You literally have been in my life my entire life.
Oh, I love hearing that.
And here's the thing, if I would have just run into you, even like I did when I met you and didn't know that, it's like fame with no downside of fame. How
There are
is
some big benefits actually to being a voice actor and having a very, very well-known voice, but being able to walk down the street. There are
yeah,
some very big benefits, but it's quite a beautiful profession to, especially, so it's odd that my speaking voice is actually the companion to a lot of people in their daily lives and in their trips. And,
yeah.
sometimes people want to tell me about the wonderful trips we've taken together. And often they will talk to me as if I was there with them. Nothing odd about that at all. It's very funny.
But it's one of those things you can walk into a party, and if you don't tell people who you are, you can actually be anonymous,
That's right.
which is amazing. I look at the stress that comes with some of the fame and some of the things. I mean, I deal with stressed people all the time, right? So that's my thing. And so what a beautiful thing. But I want to take you back because your story is so much more than that. You've done so much more than just become this voice that everyone's know. That was more a turning point in what you chose to do with your career, right? So can we go back to like 7 year
Let's
old
go
you?
back. Let's go
I
back
would
to
love to talk
7-year-old
about
me.
7 year old because I was certainly watching Olivia Newton John as well. So what was this experience? Tell me about
I mean,
7 year old Karen.
well, yeah, I mean, I'm in the family living room and I'm watching television, and on comes the most important and influential person in the entire world, Olivia Newton-John. And my life really did change. It was this stark knowing that's what I want to do. I'm going to go to America. I'm going to become a professional singer and songwriter and actress. Like, that was so crystal clear to me. And I didn't know how I was going to do it, which really was frustrating as
Mhm,
a child. I was wired by still, I was wired even by then
mhm.
to know how to figure something out and to have this drive to do it right. That was my wiring. So I knew I wanted to do it, but I wasn't sure how. And I really want to highlight the importance of representation and of mentorship, because
Mhm.
I could see myself very clearly, a blonde Australian singer female singer who had gone to America and everybody loved her. So I was like, I was a blonde Australian singer. So it didn't seem like a very big leap because I was seeing someone who looked a lot like me,
Yeah.
or what I thought I could look like when I grew up. It's a powerful example to me that if somebody is listening to this and thinking, oh, I really wish I was following a certain path, but for whatever reason are feeling like very nervous about it or unable to take that step forward, I just really implore you to remember that it isn't only for yourself that you are doing
Mhm.
that, that you are
Yeah.
taking that action. And we sometimes forget, or we often forget, that it isn't only for ourselves that we are doing things. We're actually representing all people,
Mhm.
and all people like us in whatever community group we're in or family we're in. So it's really easy to forget that, but I'm reminded of that at the moment in my life.
I love it. And, I grew up in the fashion world. I grew up in front of a camera from the time I was born. And it's a very
Oh
weird
my gosh.
world, right? Grew and a very weird world because you kind of get thrown into something where everyone's telling you who you are, but then looking at the mentorship, you could have this dream. I could have said, "Yeah, I love acting. I love being on the runway. I love doing print work," but I can't. I'm not as good as they are. I'm not tall enough. I'm not short enough. I'm not fat enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not blonde enough. I can't. I don't have the finances. I can't leave Australia. Nobody's here to support me, but I know I want it. And a lot of people, I think, start putting those I can'ts in their life very easy. And then fast forward to 30 years old or whatever,
Right.
they've created this amazing career in some sort of identity, but it doesn't align with what they wanted when they were 5 years old, 7 years old, or what they were innate, that gift that they were innately born with, right? That the world stopped them. To use the GPS analogy, it's like they were like, oh, we're going the wrong route. We might as well just stop now or turn around or, not. using that and going back to what they were as a child. And when I work with people in adrenal fatigue and they say, I've lost my joy, one of the first things I say is, let's go back to 5-year-old you. What did you love to
What
do?
did you love doing?
At
What did
what
you love doing?
Yeah, and how do you bring that back in your life? And yes, sometimes that means your career is going to change, right? Sometimes it means that, and that's okay, you know? So so you did actually though, you're talking about mentorship and having people help you, which I love, because nobody can do this world alone. That's why we have
We
you in our
try.
car. I
Sometimes
mean,
we try, and then
my
life reminds us we cannot.
my son can't even get to the grocery store without you telling him directions on his
Oh, I
phone. So
love
I
it.
don't know, it's like, but you did actually go to New York City. So how old were you when you did that? How did you get there?
Well, it took me until I was 31.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was actually a long time, but I grew up in a town called Mackay in North Queensland, Australia, right near the Great Barrier Reef,
Mhm.
a remote town built around the sugar industry and around, tourism and mining and industries that have nothing to do with entertainment. So I needed to move from where I grew up to a city to be able to pursue what I wanted to pursue. So I first went to Brisbane, which is about a 12-hour drive from Mackay. So it's far. So I
Yeah.
went there to college and I started to work professionally as a professional singer then. And then I moved to Sydney 4 years later after I finished college. And I was in Sydney for 10 years. And during that time, I knew I wanted to go to America, but there was this huge fear. First of
Yes.
all, how to figure that out. And I think it was just knowing what I wanted to do and still not quite figuring out how. So it took a
Mhm.
long time, but it wasn't time that was wasted, because during that time I was developing my skills. Moving to America at 31 meant I was a professional, as opposed to if I'd been 21, I would have been just starting out trying to figure out how to do
Yeah.
what I do. So I had developed as an artist and as a performer. So that was beneficial. But it was really one day going, oh my goodness, I'm off route. Truly. I, that dream I had when I was a little girl to become a professional singer and to move to America, I'd stopped short and I needed to make a change. So it was massive to actually make that change. And a lot of the conversation around me, not from my family, but
Mhm.
from others, was, well, what do you want to do that for? And
Yeah.
why would you give up all of this? Because I was a working professional in the entertainment business. And I just knew, though, for me, that it wasn't what I wanted one of my life to look like.
How do you overcome that criticism around you that could have derailed you?
It's
How did you find it within you to just say, "No, I I know I can do this."
I talk about listening to your inner GPS. So we
Mhm.
all know that inner sense of self, our heart, some people call it their instincts or their gut feeling. It's when you can really hear yourself think, and you can hear what it is that is right for you. And we all know that experience.
Mhm.
Sometimes we will listen to other people
Mhm.
and their idea seems like what is we should do. And
Mhm.
so we do that,
Mhm.
and then it doesn't work out. And then we beat ourselves up because we knew all along what there was to do. So it's
Mhm.
tricky in life. But this time I didn't do what was expected. I did exactly what felt like right for me. But it was hard. I saved money and I moved to America, and I was looking for work and somewhere to live in New York City. And I only knew a handful of people. It wasn't like I had this big network or a contract waiting for me.
Yeah.
So that was one of the harder years of my life. That first year in New York, exhilarating and exciting to know I was in the right place and to be building and experiencing a creative community, but
Yeah.
very difficult personally to be so far from what had been my support network and
Yeah.
figuring it out alone. And I know a lot of people who've made big moves. They've done that with a friend. They've done that as a couple, but not me, just on my own.
That's okay. I mean, that's the beauty of that story, that you trust your instincts because we're so quickly, not only in
Yeah,
ourself becoming self doubtful of ourselves, right? All these patterns, I talk a lot about generational cycles of burnout and stress and negative self talk. And, we learn these from our parents. We learn these from our environment. We learn these from our bosses. It could have been something we heard when we were 5 that made us think, wow, we're just not good enough. We're not strong enough. We're not cut out for this. We need to let someone else tell us who we are because we're not good enough to do that. And I think that carries across the world. I think everybody has some
agreed.
aspect of this self doubt and I'm not good enough and I'm not worth doing it. What if I go and I fail? What will everyone think? That's the worst
Oh,
one.
what will
What
everyone
will
think?
everyone think about me? Like, well, first of all, like they really even need to think about you, but also why do we worry so much about that? We have such a complicated brain, I guess, that has to look at all that. And there's lots
We're
of
so,
physiology with that, but
yeah,
this story is so empowering because you trusted it. And I have
I did.
talked growing up in the entertainment industry and meeting tons of people throughout my life and whatnot. A lot of people say, well, I didn't do it by the time I was 18, so I guess it's not going to happen. And you're a testament that if you really want something and you know what you want, you know what you love, and you keep trusting that gut, age is really irrelevant.
Okay, so I've got a story for you.
I love stories. Let's do it.
Age is irrelevant, but there is so much focus on it. We are a youth obsessed culture and we are a
Oh,
beauty obsessed culture, and the comparison trap is debilitating. Uh, I'm a professional speaker. I
mhm,
speak at conferences and events. I work with
mhm,
groups who are navigating change powerfully.
mhm.
I love my corporate clients. I absolutely love it. It is a real home for me being on a stage in front of a group of people uh,
Yeah.
with professional development and personal development in mind.
Mhm.
But at my heart, I am a songwriter. In my
Yeah.
heart, I have written songs since I was 7 years old.
Mhm.
And I, so that's a very long time. And I'm going to tell you, I'm 57 years old this year. I've been
Congratulations.
writing songs for 50 years. It's a long time to be writing songs. And just this week, a song that I co-wrote, has been released, and it's been released by two extremely successful and beloved Australian artists, Vika and Linda, who are a duo who are sisters and have just the most gorgeous voices you could ever imagine. And I had the opportunity to write with them, and they chose 3 songs written at the event that we were writing at to come out on their new album, and one of those is a single that's just been released. And the reaction to the song is so visceral for people. It's a song called That's How I Pray, and it's
Oh.
actually they call it fondly the swimming song. It's about their love of swimming and the freedom of being in the water. And so I'm sharing this story because for me right now, this is my songwriting dream, the beginning of my songwriting dream coming true. And when you say, it can be tricky to keep doing what you know is right for you when there isn't any evidence around you, it can. But there was a point where I decided, well, you know what? I am a songwriter.
Mhm.
It's not, are you a songwriter or not? Yeah, I am. And I write a song every week. I'm part of a mastermind where I do that.
I
I
love it.
record my music frequently. I release music. I film music videos. I don't care what the world has to say about my
Mhm.
age. I
Yeah.
truly do not any longer care. And it's fascinating how many women, I'm going to say over 35, because that
Mhm.
seems to be, a point where people start to
Mhm.
think about, oh, getting older,
Mhm.
um, who resonate with the fact that a 57-year-old recording artist, singer, songwriter is continuing to create and
Mhm.
release my work. So I
Mhm.
do this, and as I was saying in the beginning, we can forget, but I do this not only for myself, for myself first, because it's what I'm drawn to and called to do. But where I would ask people listening to take a look, where in your life is there something that you have loved doing since you were 5 or since you were 7 and you stopped doing it and it didn't seem sensible, and you are feeling like there's got to be more in life. Well, just you can take the tiniest step. Writing a song a week is a huge commitment on one way, and in another way, in the structure I'm involved in, the game is write a song in an hour and do that once a week. So I take that structure and I say, what can you do for 1 hour a week? That is something that you have always loved doing, that you've been depriving yourself of doing. Anyway, thank you for listening to my long story.
I love it. I love it because there's so many similarities between us. And when I look at the brain, and how it reacts to reacts with the adrenal glands and stress response, and how stress response makes us older, right? We start becoming disabled. We start getting chronic disease. We start to get wrinkles. Our hair starts to fall, right? Stress is a huge component. And the research shows that some of the best things you can do for your health are creative outlets and doing things that you love and things that bring
I would
joy.
love that study.
Yeah, absolutely. There's tons of them. And so when you talk about, we have this in our culture, we get old and we get immobile and we just need to be taken care of. And that is so not true. I'm going to be 50 in a couple months. Yay. I'm proud. I'm excited.
Wow.
Like, bring it. Like bring it on. Right.
You are about to become a queenager. Did you know this term?
I'm about to become a queenager. And because the amount that I've learned in the last, I would say 10 years for sure, but 20 years in navigating life and adjusting to grief, right? People being lost, identity being challenged, raising kids, family, starting a business, being an entrepreneur, helping other people, right? And growing up with a mindset that you always have to be young, beautiful, tall, perfect, right? For people to love you. It's been a long road that could have taken me the wrong direction, but it's allowed me to then find a career that helps other people and motivates them. And those experiences that I have a lesson, right? And I think that what's so interesting with your story in regards to that is you didn't set out to be Siri, right? You didn't set out to be a voice, to be in every commercial that we've ever heard of, right? Oh my gosh, she just answered me
She's going to
from
do
my
that. She
phone
can't
because
help
I
it.
said
I
her
know.
name. Okay, that's weird.
I know. Welcome to my life, okay? Welcome to my life.
She just talked in the other room. I was like, oh my God. This is but
Yeah.
you didn't set out for that. And even if we go back to what your dream was at 7 years old, you set out to sing. You're a singer-songwriter. That's what you are. But what ended up bringing you I'm assuming, the funds to be able to continue what you're doing, to have a career, to influence other people so that you can continue to do what you truly love was something you never expected. And people take that as a failure. Because they're like, well, I set out to be a singer-songwriter, but here I am, a voice artist. I'm, on stages talking to people, motivating people, and it's great, and I get paid to do it, but it's not what I really wanted to do. And they're not realizing that had to happen for the other things to happen. And your career is probably, not just starting, by all means, you've been doing this forever, but
It feels like it, though.
But
It
it's
feels like it.
at a time where most people are like, oh, I'm going to be a grandparent and I'm just going to quit my
Right.
job and this is it. And it's all over for me because I'm going to be 60 soon and my life is over and I am what I am. And we are ever evolving and you are ever evolving. And that is freaking awesome, first of all. And I'm going to look up that song and I'm going to listen to it. And I am going to spread it to as many people as I want because that is absolutely amazing. And doing those creative outlets from a health standpoint are going to keep you sharper for a longer period of time. And that's a beautiful gift that you have. And going to that, I want to talk about this recalculating because I couldn't think of a better, you are brilliant, by the way, because as life comes about us, if you take a wrong turn and I'm listening to GPS, she doesn't yell at me when I take a wrong turn. She's like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'll just recalculate the route. Like, who cares? Oh, there's an accident up there. You know what? Do we want to? It's going to be 5 minutes if you go this way. It's going to be 7 minutes if we go this way. Which one do you want to do today? And in a very loving way. And your platform on recalculating when we run into the life's challenges like that is so beautiful. And I'd love you to take some time to talk to people about this and change their lives.
So when you talk about the effect on the adrenals, so if when we, and I have done this way too many times in my life, where something will happen and I'll have a shock reaction. I go into almost like a statue state.
Mhm.
And what that does to our body is just not healthy at all, even though it's my body trying to protect me from
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah.
But it's taken a long time for me to learn, but I am still practicing. And a
Always.
little bit what the Stoics say, which is, don't be surprised. You turn the news on and there's a tragedy, and then another one, and then another one. And then there are groups of people at war with each other. Like, we turn the news on and I know I can go, oh, is my reaction. And Sophie McLean, a powerful teacher I studied with, took us through this amazing session about the Stoics. And she said, they would say, don't be surprised. If you're going to turn the news on, it's not really a surprise that you're going to see tragedy after tragedy.
Great point.
But somehow we don't remember that, and we turn the news on and we get surprised. It's the same in life. We're going to take wrong turns. We are going to have things not turn out the way we would have loved them to turn out. And when those things happen, if we can practice saying to ourselves, recalculating, and working and practicing to keep our emotional state more even, it is so much healthier. And this is a skill base we can actually learn. We can practice it and become much more proficient at it, and regulate ourselves in a much healthier way. As I said, I'm still practicing, but to be able to go, okay, this major occasion in my life did not go the way I thought, recalculating. And I do have a 5-step process I could share with you.
Oh, I would love it. Please.
So the first direction for recalculating is to notice you are off route. So just to notice that things aren't going the way that you'd like them to be. This can sometimes just be a very quiet moment. It's not always a dramatic moment where you notice it. And in fact, you can have been off route for a while, and then it twigs and you're like, oh, but that is the moment when you can actually do something about it, because bringing awareness to it, that's when you can make a change. So being willing to change direction is the second direction, being willing to do things differently, to take a look at other options that weren't on the table originally. The third direction for recalculating is to clarify your destination. So now that
That's a big one.
become aware that you're off route, you're willing to do things differently. Where are you headed now? It might be somewhere different to where you thought you were headed in the first place. It could have shifted. Or you may be headed to the same direction and just on a detour. The fourth direction for recalculating is to embrace the steering wheel. And this is about getting ready to go for it and being accepting that this is how it is now, and truly accepting it and getting yourself ready to take that next step. And the fifth direction for recalculating is to accelerate. And this is all about action, because ideas are wonderful. I love ideas, but action is where it's at. Action is where you really make those shifts. So they are the 5 directions for recalculating. And this is a process that you can use in everyday life. You can use it in a corporation when you are making big business decisions, but it's something that can be used for small or major life recalculations.
Yeah, and it ties into the adrenals. That's what I tell people too. They have to notice that they have stress around them. They have to
That's
notice
right.
how they react to it. And then they
Right.
have to choose whether they're going to react to it anymore. And if they're not going to react to it anymore, what are they going to do instead? Right? And then when they make that decision, they clarify their destination. Okay, I'm not going to react to this bear in the woods anymore. I'm going to think it's a bear club. So where am I going to go? Am I going to take this route or this route? And then you can dream about it all day long, but if you don't actually do it, one of the number one excuses I hear on a daily basis is, oh, yes, Dr. Pingel, I totally understand. You know what? Let's do that after Christmas. Let's do it when it calms down. When all the stress goes away, then let's do it. And here's the thing, the stress never goes away. There's always a distraction. There's always a news story. There's always someone in the next car. There's always a financial thing. There's always a relationship or a weird conversation. There's always a job thing. There's always something. And it's not the issue of, is there going to be more stress or when is it going to calm down? Unfortunately, it's how am I going to look at it differently? It comes down to
Mm,
what you do with your brain, right? You had
right.
two people on a roller coaster, same stress, same front car, right? They're both going to go the same speed. The environment's exactly the same. And one person's like, yes. And they've got their arms in the air and they're like, yes, I love it. And the other person's like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm never going to make it. What's going to happen to my children? And you've got the same stressed environment, two completely different reactions, right? They may both acknowledge that they're under stress, right? But how they interpret and the action they take from it is what's important. The person who loved it's going to get back on it. And if the person who didn't love it makes a choice to, hey, you know what? I'm going to see if I can find the fun in this, and they get back on it, their experience is going to change. And so I just want you to know how much physiology in those little five things that you just mentioned that seem like, oh, just do this, how much they can change with their health. So I want all of you
Mm-hmm.
listening, by doing this, your health will change. Your anxiety will go down, your sleep
Yeah.
will be better, your joy will be better, your energy will be better, your focus, what you can give to your family, your job, your life, your neighbors, and the clarity that comes from your next step in life becomes so much more manageable. So you said, notice it, willing to change, clarify the destination, embrace the wheel, and accelerate. It is
That's it.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful. And such a great play on words. And like I said, the recalculating thing is great. I don't know anyone whose life has gone exactly as they planned it to go.
Nope.
And if it has, they're actually miserable because they're pretending. They're
Right.
playing a role in their life and not actually living their life, right? They're just doing what everyone
Right.
tells them to do. So they may have a great job, they may have the perfect household, whatever, but they're typically inside not
Yeah.
as happy. And you see this in corporations all the time, people that work themselves into the ground, right?
That's
I
right.
imagine with you going into these corporations, what do you see in these like high driven, perfectionist, hardworking, powerful, particularly women, powerful women who are managing lives? I mean, they're dealing with this on a daily basis, and you're going in there and helping them change it,
I
right?
see, yeah, what I tend to see is extremely highly functioning human beings working to outwit life
Uh,
and to not experience overwhelm in any way possible.
hmm,
And highly strung, I think, is what I would say. I think it is very difficult to live a really big life. And I'm going to say for women in particular,
mhm,
a large career life and a large family life, an engaged family life at the same time without the right people
mhm,
to support both of those spheres.
mhm.
And if
And
you
we
have
wanna
the
do it
right,
ourselves, right?
we
We
want
wanna
to
be
do
in
it
control.
ourselves. And we do want to do it ourselves, but we also, um, I know for myself, I found that incredibly challenging
Mhm.
to let go around the home
Yeah.
and the career
Mhm,
and allow others to be part of that team. I think that is why I am personally feeling so free at this moment with a child, my one and only,
mhm,
who has gone off to college, and I'm like, I'm on school holidays for the rest of my life. My career is going to skyrocket because this is it. You know,
Yeah.
it's my time now.
And
So
there's a
it
lot of
is.
pleasure in those moments leading up to that where you are with your child and doing
That's right.
the making the lunches and having to go to the football games and doing all these things that we say are holding us back from our career that actually aren't. They're putting us present in the moment to
They
open up
are.
the time for you. That's
They are, but it's very difficult. Was very difficult for me to
Mhm.
experience it that way.
Of course.
So I think, when a young woman will ask for my input around how younger woman than me, how do you manage, a young family plus a career?
Yeah.
I tell them it's an unwinnable recipe.
Yeah.
You can't win. So just know that you're not doing anything wrong.
Mhm.
Attempting this is just Herculean and amazing, and many women do very well,
Mhm.
but it's about having the right people. And
Mhm.
just know it's beyond two full-time jobs.
Yeah.
That is not recognized anywhere near to the level I believe it needs to be in our
Mhm.
society.
I
And
agree.
to make the choice to do both at the same time is extraordinary and requires the support of a large number of people around that person, not
Yeah.
just one or two.
Mhm.
So I, I just really encourage uh, parents to be very gentle with themselves because it's a massive undertaking.
It's a huge undertaking. And I look at, you know, how much we compromise ourselves in our own health, having family members that I've had family members that have all died from the top diseases in our country. My whole family was very driven. So they were at the expense of their own health and their own self, trying to do everything for everybody all of the time. And then it ends up taking their life. And they never had
Mm.
a moment, just a moment to be like, I'm okay as I am right now, and it's okay if I say no, and it's okay if I ask for help, and it's okay if I have support system behind me, and it's okay to delegate so that I can enjoy the moment. Through that, I've thought a lot about legacy and like, what do you want to leave on the planet when you go? I mean, you have a great one, right? Everyone's going to remember you as the GPS girl, but I'm going to guess that that's probably not what's most important to you, right? Like for me,
Yeah.
people could say, "Well, you're the adrenal whisperer. You're out there, you're helping people, you're redefining stress in the world, you're changing the world, you're changing health." But when I pass, that's not what I want people to say about me. I just want them to say, "Wow, I really liked her. She was she was really cool, and
Yeah.
she danced hip hop, and she had interesting stories, and we had great conversations, and I'm really gonna miss seeing her." And really, when it comes down to it, that's what's really important is the people that you're with and the things that you do that help other people, but, it's not about the accolade or how much money you made or, what job you got. Those are the little pieces that get you to that point where you start to love who you are and then bring that forward to everybody else, and I imagine um, your life experience has taught you something similar.
Yeah, that's really powerful that outside accolades help you feel good about who you are so that you can do your work. And when those outside accolades aren't there, can you be that for yourself anyway?
Mhm.
It's takes something. It
Yeah.
takes something to continue to trust the path of that life is taking, and that you actually know for yourself what is the right next step. I talk about listening to your inner GPS. It is fundamental to build a relationship with ourselves and cut through the noise of everyday life, which is everywhere endlessly, and to be able
All
to
the
take
time.
that time for ourselves, whether it be quiet time or meditation. I meditate twice a day, 20 minutes in the
Mhm.
morning, 20 minutes in the afternoon. I need to do that.
Mhm.
And it does strengthen my relationship with myself with a capital S. And
Mhm.
I am able to listen to what I know is right for me. And I can recognize if I'm not sure what is
Mhm.
right for me
Mhm.
and give myself that space. And we are in a system where being busy is a badge of honor. We're all
Mhm.
overwhelmed. We're all doing too much.
Mhm.
I don't choose to live like that.
Me
And
yeah.
it's possible. I think, yeah, I can see you're the same. And we, I think, are both here on this, in this conversation to say, you don't have to, if you're listening to this, you don't have to choose to live that way either. And
Mhm.
sometimes that can take more energy to make those standards for yourself.
Mhm.
But being well rested and well hydrated and feeling good in my skin and having a clear mind, these are extremely important to me. My quality of life and how I feel every day is my highest
Mhm.
priority.
Mhm.
And I don't covet the that being so busy that I cannot maintain those things. That doesn't interest me in ways it may have in the past,
Yeah, I mean, waking up is a gift. There's a
right?
lot of people who didn't wake up today, and they
Yeah.
probably had all these great plans for themselves,
Mhm.
and, not gonna happen happen because 'cause they're not here,
Right,
right?
right,
We all so it is, I think, very important, and I would imagine that you can't possibly songwrite and sing when you're in a sympathetic nervous system fight or flight. You can't access that creative part of your brain, so you have to be able to utilize those types of things to be able to do what you love, and those are the first
right.
things we drop. Or the first things we drop are the things we love to do immediately.
I wanna say about this, when you say that, what comes to mind to me is
Yeah.
songwriting, and there were years where I didn't prioritize my writing, and there are lots of good reasons. We could do an entire analysis on that. It's not the point. But at the time, in 2019, it was a really significant moment for me. I found out about this organization called the I Heart Songwriting Club, which
Mhm.
has this process of write a song a week. They give a theme, put you in a group with other people, and I thought to myself, if I cannot find 1 hour a week
Yeah.
to do the creative thing that I love most in the world to do, that I feel like I was put on this planet for, there is something wrong. And if you're listening to this, I ask you, what is it that you have always loved doing that you're depriving yourself of doing? And just try it. Put 1 hour in the calendar a week
Mhm.
to explore what that thing might be, and your quality of life will improve in ways you cannot even imagine.
I reversed my depression and adrenal fatigue by dancing 1 hour a week. I went back to hip hop dance and
Amazing.
I danced 1 hour a week. That's all I committed to, and I would notice when I got home, my view of the world was very different, and so then I started going 2 hours a week, and then I started going 3 hours a week. So now I'm up to 7 hours a week that I dance. And I dance with teenagers, I dance with adults, I dance with different teachers. I don't care, but I gotta get out of the house, and when I travel and I can't dance, it's amazing how much more I'm stressed. The little things that I normally roll off my back start bothering me because I don't have that time for me. And does that mean that I'm gonna be a professional hip hop dancer? No. To all the
It's not the point.
yeah, all the perfectionists out there that say, "Okay, great. Yeah, I love to dance, but I can't dance to be professional at it." Well, great. Don't do it for that. Do it because you feel your body. Like for me, being able to throw an arm out and feel the music at the same time and then bring in the emotion of the dance at the same time and then also have a social network around me of people doing the same thing and then having to watch myself in a mirror that a lot of people are
Uh-huh.
intimidated by forced me to have to pay attention to what I looked like and how I carried myself and let go of that judgment and all of those things when you're doing all those things at one time you can't possibly think about the dishes in the sink or what you're going to do tomorrow. Or, I mean, you have to be present in that moment and navigate that moment. And that's the beauty of
It
any
is.
type of art. Singing, I can't sing worth a lick. It's really sad. I was given the gift of acting, modeling, dancing, singing, not a triple threat. I love to sing. Please don't be in the car with me when I do.
But
but
please do it.
but I'm gonna do it because it opens up my voice chakra and it gets me communicating with the world
Yeah,
in a way and not caring what the world thinks. And I actually, when we boil it all down to, we'll stick with women for the moment, the professional women, the women doing it all, right? We can. That doesn't mean we should, number one. And I think it really comes down to self worth and self doubt that we feel like we have to keep proving ourselves.
right.
And just to take a moment for us to sing, to write,
Yeah.
to dance, to sit. Uh, you know, we're always wanting to multitask everything because that's what the world is telling us to do, that we can't just sit in that
I know.
moment and enjoy the birds and the cup of coffee and the creative process. And I personally believe this is actually why our health is declining. I don't think it's
Oh, I
necessarily,
fully agree.
I mean, I think the food, yeah, okay, the toxins, yeah, but why? Because when we're in a stress state, we can't detox toxins. So yeah,
Yeah,
of course, we can't absorb our food. So yeah, of course, and I think what we both do, the reason why both of us belong here in this conversation and on this earth is that we're going to change the next generation's view of stress
right.
and overstimulation. You agree?
Dr. Melissa Forbes at University of Southern Queensland just was posting about prescribing creativity,
Mhm.
and there's a special day to highlight this, but that
Mhm.
for medical professionals to prescribe creativity for depression
Mhm.
and anxiety patients.
Mhm.
And I read that, I was like,
Mhm.
this is it is one of the pathways. And I was amazed when I read that the opposite of depression is expression.
Mhm.
Is that the best?
It's awesome. It's
I
almost as
just
good as the only women that men will take direction from. But
it's
I think
almost
I
as
think
good
that
as
might
that.
be the best statement I
It's
have
pretty good.
ever heard,
I love it.
ever.
I love it. But and one more thing about your dance class before we move on to being
Oh,
the only
yeah.
woman men will take directions from, LOL, is I joined a tap dancing class, and I go once a week for
Mhm,
45 minutes, and I'm an on-stage performer, so it could be,
mhm.
oh, well, I'm going there to improve my skills on stage. No, I go there as a total outlet to it. I really enjoy it. I
Yeah.
love the experience of tap dancing.
Mhm.
And I am absolutely nowhere near a professional at that, and nor will I be. But I take myself there when I can, once a week. And you are correct about looking at ourselves in the mirror. That's
Oh,
confronting,
it's
but
really
it's
hard.
important growth. Yeah.
It's really hard, especially as we age, right?
Yes, it
I
is.
mean,
It's
everything.
becoming okay with
Yep.
it.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
was taught, stay a certain weight, stay a certain look, don't get any wrinkles.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you're always presenting yourself in a certain way. And having to look myself in the world with that background and look at myself in the mirror and say, I'm still beautiful. I'm more beautiful. I've grown in other ways. Yeah,
Right.
I may have more wrinkles, but there's more light in my eyes, right? There's more joy
Right.
in my soul. And looking at those little things, um, has really been a game changer for me personally in
Mm,
helping other people and helping myself, and I do find it's really hard to look at yourself in the mirror,
mm-hmm.
especially when you're
It's
doing something you're not
confronting.
very good at.
Right. Oh yeah, that's like a double whammy.
And you're always thinking that everyone else is watching you. The analogy of the dance class
Nobody
is
is watching
beautiful.
you.
Nobody sees you. And I learned that, and the funny thing was the irony of that is when I first went back to dance, they didn't have an adult hip hop class, and I wanted hip hop specifically because 'cause I've always loved hip hop dance. I've always been a hip hop. I just love it, and I don't know why. Um, I'm probably built more like a ballet dancer than a hip hop dancer, um, but when I went in, there was no adult hip hop class. So the class I was in was with 14 and 15-year-olds because that was the advanced hip hop class.
Oh, how much eye rolling did you have to withstand there?
None.
Whew.
That was the
That's
thing.
awesome.
That's the thing is I walked in thinking, "Oh my god, they're not gonna accept me." I they're not gonna want this old lady in their class. And I'd walk in, I'm like, "Hi, I'm Trisha." And I like made myself real small and kind of hung in the back. And then I started listening and watching them. And I realized they're 14 and 15 years old. What's going through their head? I'm not enough. I'm not pretty
Am I
enough.
good
What she's
enough?
doing, they're watching me. They were going through exactly what I was going through. And I was like, oh my God, I can mentor these. I can set an example for
Oh,
these girls that it's okay to not be perfect. And that was the light I needed to say, you know what? I'm just going to throw it on the floor. Whether I get the routine or not, I don't care. I'm just going to give it everything. I'm going to give every ounce of happiness and joy that I have, and I'm going to encourage them, and I'm going to tell them how wonderful they are, and I'm going to show their growth, and I'm going to point it out. And they started cheering me on. Every time I'd have
oh,
to get up and perform, they would all get up and cheer. If I didn't come for a week for some reason, maybe I was on spring break with my kids, they would send
where
me
are
messages.
you?
Yeah, they would send me messages and be like, "We really missed you. We missed your energy." And
Oh,
after 10 years of doing this now, it's been almost 10 years, I've gone through 10 different years of girls growing and getting a new crop in. And even though I now dance with adults and teens in different classes, the teen class is still my favorite because I feel like I make a difference in
it's
them.
beautiful.
And with adults too, adults have those same insecurities. They come into the adult class, they're like, "I can't do this. I don't know how to
Hmm.
dance." And so I think it's been healing for me because it helps me encourage people to know that they can take that step and they can do it, and who
Right.
cares? But I'll tell you, they taught me more about life, those 14-year-olds, and that hip hop class taught me more about life and how to move forward in life than anything else I've done. And if they're listening, thank you. Thank you
Mm,
to all
that's
of you for lifting
beautiful.
me up. I know this interview is about you, but I mean, do you dance with
No,
adults
it's, I
or kids?
do.
Okay.
I do. And but I've asked if they could also do a daytime class because I just feel like, a couple of different groups of people would be really nice. But I find it, uh, it's almost like a whole part of my life for a long time has been practicing what it is to be a regular human being. Because when you're an artist and in the public eye and you are on all the time,
Mhm.
that's the reality of the profession. But then it's really nice to not do my hair and just walk into a dance class and be a
Yeah.
regular person.
Yeah.
And so I do enjoy that aspect of it.
I think if we ever do another interview, both of us are gonna show up in our pajamas
Yeah.
with no makeup on and our hair in a
Yeah.
bun, and we're
Yeah.
just gonna run with it because who cares?
Well, we don't care, but the world still cares in ways that is just, yeah, a little bit troublesome. But in, in any event,
Oh, you are such a beautiful soul.
oh, thank you so much for having me. It's just so nice to chat.
It is so nice to chat. And, to see all of just the honesty that comes out of you and somebody that anyone would look at and say, wow, this woman is incredibly successful. And you're not even close to done yet. This success
I'm
that
just
everyone
getting
has
started.
they've labeled you as already successful. You might as well just sign it off and go on. And here you are creating something that's so meaningful to your heart. And so I fully commend you for that and love all the work you're doing. And I'm going to be following everything you're doing. So make sure you keep me posted. But given everything that you've built, everything you've recalculated, everything you've done, all these amazing things on your resume, what are you modeling for people right now, for the people that are
Yeah.
watching?
So I just created a brand new show, a one-woman show. It's called Ready for What I Came Here For. And I just performed 6 performances in a row. It was the premiere season at Adelaide Fringe Festival in Australia, which is a huge event that brings 1,500 performers together over a month. It is incredible. And I'm really on a high from having created this show, which is about my life and it's about overcoming chronic anxiety and financial disaster and how my voice ends up in 7 billion devices. And that, I know I'm not receiving millions of dollars every year for having done that and have how to
Mhm.
figure life out as a result. So I am very excited about the show and now making plans to bring it to the United States. on a tour later in this year. So that is one of my current projects. Premier project is to connect with small theaters and performing arts centers and corporate clients interested in a show that entertains and inspires. And I weave my songs through the show, and
Oh, I
that
love it.
feels good. And why I'm answering your question with this example is I'm modeling that it's okay to create something brand new and create a musical memoir of my life and share the challenges and some of the ways I've been inspired by others to overcome those challenges and to take that leap of performing that on stage in front of audiences.
I'm so excited you're going to come to Phoenix.
Oh, I would love to come to Phoenix. In fact, I must contact that beautiful musical instruments museum. I did get their information.
Yes. Well,
In Scottsdale.
if you come to visit, we're going to dance together.
I'm in. Only if we
I
do a
love it.
TikTok video.
Oh, sure. I don't mind. Sure. Why not? You can come to a dance with me. I think you should come dance with me. I think we'd have a great time.
I think we would too. I think we would too. Now I'm on a mission to book a theater in Phoenix.
All right. Well, anyone out there listening, let's book her in Phoenix because we got to dance. We got to get her back here into the United States. So that is so exciting. Thank you so much just for taking time to be you in everything that you are with me for an hour. I could talk to you all day. I probably will. I will, because I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to go somewhere and you're going to start talking to me, or I'm going to say your name and you're going to tell me how to make my dinner or whatever. I mean, it's crazy. I think I even told you I actually picked the Australian one. Like I actually had picked the Australian one. I before I even met you, and I was like, that's weird. That's the one I picked because I like that one the best.
What I would like to leave people with is one sentence, and it's a great one to keep coming back to when things aren't working out how you would love them to, and that is, it is never too late to recalculate. It is never too late to recalculate. It's always another step.
And
thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, yeah. And they can find you at thegpsgirl.com.
They can, right? And KarenJacobsen.com. They can find me on. Please come and subscribe to my YouTube, and let's connect on Insta and be together forever. Also LinkedIn,
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. So much.
You have reached your destination.
Ready to break the cycle? Visit drpingel.com for resources and find me on all social platforms by searching Dr. Tricia Pingel. That's Pingel. And please subscribe to What Am I Modeling on YouTube and your favorite podcast app. Your reviews help us break these generational cycles for more people. Remember, when you change what you model, you change everything. See you next week.